Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Real Talk with Ellison. And I am Ellison, and I have with me here my hubby, my other whole,
Hey.
Eric. Thank you for being here with me again, babe.
Hey, you're welcome.
So, listen, if you're tuning in to Real Talk with Ellison, on this show, we talk about real issues that impact the church and the community as a whole. If you are on Facebook, go ahead and like us. And if you are on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe.
Yeah.
Right? Whatever your platform, and share this out, because today we are going to be talking about the impact of negativity.
Yes.
Negativity. Right? And unfortunately, with so much stuff that's going on in the world on today, it's hard to get away from negativity. So it's just me and my honey on today, and we need you guys to chime in, comment, give us your words, let us know, talk back to us on today, okay? All right. So listen, negativity. Where does negativity start? Where does negativity start?
Is that a question for me?
If you want to answer it.
I would tend to think negativity has a lot to do with a person's makeup or their history.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, negativity, actually, if you think about it, negativity can actually start as early as infancy. So it starts in the home, because you think about an infant or a child, they react, right? They react to your facial expressions. They react to how your tone, they just react to so many different things. So yes, negativity actually starts in a home. And even if you grow up in a home that's predominantly positive, you are still exposed to 77% negativity.
What? In a home, in a positive home.
In a positive home.
Y'all hear that, Christians? Y'all hear that, believers? Those of us that believe that we have a positive environment in our homes. 70, you said 77?
77% is still negative.
Oh, that's scary.
77%.
That's crazy.
Yes. Okay. It's still negative. So, negative events have a greater impact on our brain. Okay. Right? It has a greater impact on our brain than the positive ones. And that's powerful, because when it impacts our brain, and I seen where Preston said it starts in your mind, but when it impacts our brain, it not only impacts our mind, it impacts our behavior as well. It impacts our behavior, it impacts our decisions, and it can even impact your relationship, regardless if it's a marriage, siblings, friends. Negativity can impact all of that.
Right. And you said that it develops a negative behavior, right? Because it's in your mind.
Yes.
So whatever is in your mind, or what you have learned or picked up, especially little kids.
Yeah.
Little kids
are sponges.
They're sponges.
Yes.
And even though we say, act a certain way, they're going to do what they see us do.
That's right.
And so I think we give off a lot of behaviors that our children pick up. And a lot of times we don't realize that.
Yes. And that's why it's so important to not be negative. But what happens when I talk to myself and I'm negative? Negative self-talk. Wow. Right? Because again, like Preston said, it's in your mind. Negative self-talk is an internal conversation. So who am I talking to? Me, myself, and I. And all three of us are negative.
Yeah. I mean, what you think and what you say about yourself is going to have a lot to do with your self-esteem and how you react to other people.
That's right.
I mean, y'all know, scripture says how a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So how you perceive yourself, if you perceive things as negative, your outlook is negative on everything, then your actions and your behavior is going to reflect that idea.
That's right. And that's important, because the voice you hear the most is your own. So if I'm hearing my own voice and I'm telling myself all this negative stuff about me, and if you think you're not negative about yourself, let me just prove a point. You did something. Oh my God, I can't believe I was so stupid. Tell me that wasn't negative.
Yes.
Tell me that was not negative. Oh my God, I was so stupid. I can't believe I did that. That is negative talk about your own self.
Yes.
So yes, negative self-talk is an internal conversation, and that happens because sometimes you can overgeneralize. right? You can overgeneralize. You're telling yourself that the negative events is bound to continue to happen. Oh, I never win when it's time for a drawing. You know, when you go into some place and they picking out, I never win. Oh, it's always going to happen. Then we start telling the future. Oh, this is going to happen to me all the time. You know, so we overgeneralize and we convince ourselves that this negative behavior is going to continue in our life. And you might be saying, well, Ellasin, it does. Well, you know why? Because you are setting that atmosphere for it to be negative. What you got?
I wonder how many of the viewers can relate to maybe in your relationships, because this is where we see this particular behavior amplified.
Yeah.
If we're doing something with our spouse or with somebody in our family and we have a negative experience.
Yeah.
Right. Then every time, say the negative experience was we went to dinner and something happened.
Yeah.
And the next time we go to dinner and there's an argument about whatever.
Right.
Then every time I go to dinner, there's going to be a problem.
Right.
And then you create a negative idea and you overgeneralize. Well, every time we go to, you start saying stuff like every and all the time. Right?
Yes.
Every time we have holidays, every time we go to dinner, there's an issue. There's a problem.
You guys talk back to us about negativity. Are you negative? Do you see yourself as a negative person? And I like that you brought that up about the overgeneralizing in a relationship, right? Because that can also hinder relationships, right? But when I am negative, when I am talking negative about myself, that's when it hinders relationships. So it's important for us to identify if we're negative in the beginning, even before we get into a relationship, right? So you guys talk back to me. What do you think? What about magnification, right? That's when you take the errors or the flaws of your partner or even yourself and you exaggerate it.
Yes.
You magnify your wrongs, right? That's negative. Instead of learning from your mistakes, you magnify them and you continually talk negative about yourself.
Right? And some people are extra critical. I'm very critical of myself, but sometimes you can get to the point where you'll make, I think you said earlier, you said, oh, I can't believe I did that. I'm so silly. I'm so stupid.
Yeah.
And you'll say that I how could I have been so foolish and it could have been something that you made a mistake on that wasn't even that serious.
Right. Right.
But you've magnified it, right? And you made it bigger. You made it bigger than what it is,
right?
And then what that does is it grows the negativity within you, because then that's all you can see yourself as a negative individual.
Is a negative individual, and then you get mad when you get an amen choir. I can't believe I did that. I was so stupid. Oh yeah, you're right.
You're right.
You're right.
And then you start expecting bad things to happen.
Yes.
Right? Listen, I don't know if they know. When I was younger, they had the Flintstone kid. Y'all remember who was it? The Hanna-Barbera cartoons guys, the really rotten. Anyway, they had this guy called Bad Luck Schlep Rock, right?
Yes.
He had this little cloud over his head. Everywhere he went, there was a cloud over his head, right? And every time he walked into a room, something bad would happen.
Yes.
He would always say, "Wowsy, wowsy, woo woo." He always expected something bad to happen.
Always expected.
And that's what we do. We set ourselves up for that when we magnify small things in our lives and make them bigger than what they are.
Yes. Oh my gosh, you went way back with the Flintstones. But yeah, I mean, isn't that just like us? We talk bad about ourselves, then the amen choir jumps on, and then we get mad at them for saying, "Yeah, you right, that was stupid."
Yeah. I wonder what about minimizing things, like minimizing how you feel about a particular situation, minimizing your emotions in an event where maybe you should feel your emotions. Does that cause negativity also?
So it can, because now I'm teaching myself to decrease my emotions. So when I need to be emotionally present, I can't be.
Listen, I'm putting myself out there, y'all, because there's been times I've magnified things.
That shouldn't have been magnified.
And I minimize a lot, right? I make things, small things, and a lot of it has to do with my career. We're focused on the small details. So we go global over small details and erupt over small things. right? It forces us to pay attention to the small details, but it creates a negative mindset for people that are around you. Because it's like, oh man, you can't do nothing right because this one little thing is wrong. And it makes the whole thing wrong. And that's not always the truth. But then on the flip side, sometimes I minimize how I feel in certain situations, and I refuse to feel certain things when I should acknowledge those emotions. Right. And that's negative too, because then I have now detached myself from being able to connect with my spouse emotionally when she needs me to in certain times.
So that kind of goes along with emotional reasoning. We make decisions based on our emotions and how we feel rather than the value of it. We do that. So when we make emotional decisions, then that can pose a problem. And then that can bring on more negativity because I'm doing this out of my emotion, out of a feeling, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It says nothing can come into your experience unless you speak them into existence through thoughts, whether it is negative or positive. And that is so correct because we think, and you said it before, as a man thinketh, so is he. So what we think of ourselves. So there's no way I can see myself as, what did you call the Heine barbarian man?
Anyway, bad luck, schlep luck.
I can't be bad luck, schlep luck, or whatever his name is. And I want you to see me as this powerful woman because my behavior, my tone, everything about me is going to create an atmosphere of being bad luck, schlep luck, whatever his name is, right? Yeah. Whatever, you know his name. Yeah. So what we think, it will produce our behavior, if that makes sense. And then you got to remember that sometimes we are excessive with this. We are excessive with being negative. We want to take on, the amounts of responsibility, especially things that we can't control, but yet we want to dive into that and be negative over that as well. We can't control some of the things that happen. We can't control the things on the news, but then we allow that to come into us, and now we are producing more negativity.
Yes. So then you're saying we have to be careful with what we entertain, what we listen to, what we watch, because negative news, negative Nancy, negative music, negative stuff that gets in your spirit will create a negative attitude in the individual that entertains it.
Yes, right? Yes. Yeah. Listen, y'all, put a yes, a thumbs up, or whatever. But do y'all know that person that almost everything that comes out of their mouth is negative?
Oh, man.
Right? Negative. Yes. Have everything they say. Poor me syndrome. Yeah. Oh, wait. Woe is me. Playing the victim. But almost, I think all of us, I'm going to raise my hand. Almost all of us know somebody that almost every time they speak is negative.
It's negative. And then when you say something good, they follow it up with a yeah, but, or they come back with something negative, almost as if like they can't see the positive. And dealing with a person like that, man, it's taxing.
Draining.
It drains.
You ever notice a negative person even talk slow?
Yeah. Yes, she said yes. She said
yes, Nikita, it could be draining. A negative person, they be like, yeah, today I was, man, let me tell you. I'm like, whoa, I'm wore out and you ain't even telling me nothing yet.
Like here's a good example. Like, especially when you're trying to minister to somebody that's dealing with somebody that may be sick or somebody that has an illness, and you're telling them that God is a healer and that God can do all things as long as we keep our faith in him. And they say, I know, but the doctor said this. Or
whose report are you going to believe?
Okay. So maybe you're dealing with a faith. But then when you're on a smaller level where it's like, I didn't want to go to that store because, this store is good. Well, I know they got this and they got that. But every time I go in there, it's like they don't have what I'm looking for, or I bought some cereal out of there and it was outdated. Like they always find
complaining.
They find something. Well, I just didn't like the color of the walls. Like what? You find something to complain about,
right? But that what people don't know is a negative person. They are in a constant state of worrying.
Ooh.
Catch it now, because if I'm negative, I'm worried, I'm concerned, I'm thinking something is happening. So this is keeping me in a constant state of worrying. Because of my constant state of worrying, now I'm becoming anxious. Now that I'm becoming anxious, I'm starting to become depressed.
Wow.
Y'all got to get it. If I'm negative, I seem like I'm always complaining. I'm constantly worrying. I'm becoming anxious. I become depressed, and the list goes on, because one, I am feeling this way towards myself, but then I'm running away people in relationships.
Ooh, yes.
So now you're wondering why you're lonely, and when sister and brother so and dude and she see you, they turning the other way and they spending a little extra time down aisle number 5. That's because you're negative Nancy.
Yeah, negativity is hard,
yes.
Especially if, and so I think this is something, sometimes couples don't see the negativity in the person they're with when they first get together, because we always put on the best face.
Yeah.
Right. We always put on the best mask and present ourselves in our best selves. I want to show you the best me possible, and so what? No?
Go ahead. I'm listening.
Yeah. And so what I'm saying is that you can be so googly eyed over the person that you're with that you didn't realize that they had some issues. Okay.
You missing the red flags.
You're missing the red flags. And then when you get together, you make a commitment.
Moldy muffin.
and you get married, then you find out, if you're a positive person, that, man, this person, everything they say is negative. Everything that we do together, it's like it's a taxing, like it's a chore,
right?
In order to have an enjoyable moment, because all they do is see the bad thing in every situation.
Right. And so, I'm glad that you brought that up. Learning to be a pretender, person says. So I'm glad you brought that up because I seen Sister Shirley put up the butterflies. Yeah, we got butterflies all in our stomach, and we're googly eyed, and I just love you, and we're missing all of it. But at the same time, you have to understand, a tiger can only hide his stripes for so long. Right? So if I am hiding my stripes, and I want to talk to that comment, if I'm hiding my stripes, it's only but so long that my negativity is going to start oozing out, because a negative person, this is now a habit.
Yes.
This is now my habit. This is my norm. This is me. So eventually that is going to start spewing out and oozing out, because you can't keep that negativity in but for so long. Right. And I like Shirley. She had a comment that said, using the words such as every time and always can be negative. And I like that, because when I'm with my couples, or even when I'm doing family counseling, I say to them, Shirley is not every time and always, because nobody is something always, every time, and never. Right. And so yes, those can definitely be negative words, because now I'm telling you, you're always like this, you don't never do this, and you always doing that, and you said it early, every time we go out to dinner there's an argument. And
so that doesn't just make you a negative person, it gives you a negative outlook on the relationship or the marriage that you're in. And then your partner isn't your partner becomes your enemy. Right.
Ooh, that was good.
Because
right there.
Then you're like, well, you never do this for me, or you never do this, and you always say this. And those are generalizations that aren't always true.
Yes.
But that negative outlook, that negative mindset will have us to believe that. And I like that you said that a person who tries to hide that can only do it for so long, because those are habits. That's how they are. So you have to learn, first of all, identify the fact that you are a negative person, right?
Yes. And who wants to? So who's gonna say that? I know I'm negative. Really? You gonna wear that?
Right. But then you got to make a decision to work towards that. To change that.
So Monica said, do you think this type of person can curse themselves, or it can become demonic? So in speaking with that, I'm not going to use the word like curse themselves and demonic, but I will say that you definitely can speak those things into existence, right? And if you go back to the word, you can think about, what did God do? He thought it and he spoke it and it was. And that's just like us. We think things, we speak things, and then it is. Because a lot of times a person who is negative, they are creating that atmosphere. Right? Even if it's not intentionally, but now because it's my habit and it's my normal, I am going to create. I remember, and just to be transparent, as a couple, I remember early on in our relationship, I loved to hit the streets and be running, and he loved to just sit down on the porch in a rocking chair, right? So he would, and I don't want to speak for him, but this was my perception, that he would already have an attitude before we went anywhere. So guess what? Do you think it really turned into a good time? No, it didn't, because he already had an attitude, which gave us an attitude. So now the whole atmosphere was just ruined because of what we did. That ain't had nothing to do with the devil. That was us and our behavior.
Yeah, I'm glad
you want to speak to that.
Yeah, and you're right. Let me address that first thing, what you said first about you didn't want to speak for me. So yeah, there were times I didn't want to go. Some of it had to do with me being tired, but some of it had to do with my personality. Like, I just generally don't like to do a lot of running around all the time. You know, I'm perfectly fine just sitting in the house, yes. You know, just being in each other's presence, you know, but I've learned to be better at that.
Yes.
What I will say is that while that was just us, that was our personality and it wasn't demonic, we have to know, and speaking from a spiritual aspect, we have to be able to understand what is mental, what is behaviors, and what is spiritual. Right? And so sometimes we call somebody's bad behavior or somebody's mental illness a demon, right? And then sometimes when they really have a mental issue.
That's right.
Right. And then sometimes people have a real demon, and we try to tell them that they got a mental problem.
Right.
You know, so it takes a person that is skilled to some degree in both areas, and with a spirit of discernment, to be able to understand the difference between the two. Now, I do believe that as believers, you know, we cannot be demonically possessed. But what we entertain things outside the umbrella of God's protection.
That's right.
We open ourselves up to be oppressed and suppressed by demonic influence.
Yes.
So while you may not be possessed with a demon or a spirit of negativity, a spirit of negativity can be upon you, right? And cause you, that's where you get all these negative thoughts.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yes. And that's why you got to protect your gates, especially as a Christian. We have our eye gates, nose, mouth, and ears. We have to protect ourselves. So if we're feeding ourselves negativity, if we're around people that's always negative, what do you think? And this segue us into negativity in a relationship, whether, you know, you're married, you're dating, a family, all of that stuff. Listen, I am a firm believer of protecting my peace at all cost. Amen. And I'm going to leave it at that. So protecting your peace means if you are negative, I'm going to let you know you're negative, but the next time I got to protect my peace. So my two fingers are going up like deuces, right? So negativity to a relationship, listen to what I'm saying, any relationship. Negativity to a relationship is like sitting around and slowly drinking poison.
Ooh, man.
We're just sitting here and we're slowly drinking poison. That's what negativity does to a relationship, because eventually the toxic impact of the negativity can be so great that it can just cause failure in the relationship to occur. Right? So when we're being negative, just think about this. I am sitting here and I'm giving my partner, and we just sipping on some poison. The poison of negativity.
Poison of negativity. And we're not supposed to be negative as believers, right? We're supposed to have a positive outlook on things because our hope lies in Jesus Christ.
Right.
You know, so we shouldn't have, yes, we'll get upset. Yes, we may have negative comments about certain situations, but we should redirect our thoughts back to what the Lord said. And the scripture tells us that we are to cast down every vain imagination and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God. Negativity is against the knowledge of God. It's against the godly things of the Lord, right? Because he's not a negative God.
That's right.
And so believers, now we're talking about the believers in relationships, we need to learn to not look at each other in a negative light, look at our relationships, look at our marriage in a negative light. But instead, if we see something that is negative that has come about, we need to address it in a positive manner to bring change.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. That's important that you said that, in a positive manner to bring change, right? So in a relationship, when there's one person that is negative, it can, if not careful, if the other person is not careful, they can now pick up that negative behavior.
Yes.
And now we just all sitting around with a double dose of poison, just being negative together. Right? So we have to be careful with that, because we pick up the emotions of other people around us. Right? If you see somebody and they're sad, you start empathizing, you start getting sad. So this is why we have to be, and especially in a relationship, you have to be more in tune with your emotions, because what are you spewing out that somebody could possibly pick up?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And that's important. But man, this is so overwhelming to be in a relationship with a negative person. I'm telling you what, but you can do things for yourself. If you are in a relationship with a negative person, I know this is going to sound contrary, because we're supposed to be one, but you have to protect your emotional and mental stability. Right? You just have to. You have to protect your emotional and mental stability. So the first thing that you can do is, if I'm in a relationship with a negative person, or in a family with, a negative person, I have to make sure I don't get caught up on your emotional roller coaster ride.
Yes.
That's number one. I can't get caught up in the emotions with you. I just can't. I can sit there, I can try to talk to you, but if you're having a negative moment, if you're feeling bad mood, you know what? I'm not jumping. I'm gonna choose not to jump on this emotional roller coaster with you. Right? So that's number one. And Preston said, yet a person has the power to change anything within themselves, because you are the one who chooses your thoughts. That is so right. Most negative people don't feel good about themselves. And that is the truth. And that's why you have to be careful, because you're spilling that onto other people.
Right.
You're spilling that on other people, especially your partner, your children, the church members. I mean, you can spill all of that out on anybody.
You can't, because, and you have to be aware of your personality type, right? Because people with very strong personality types and are strong emotionally can affect a whole room when they walk in the room.
Yes.
Right? Some people that are more reserved, they may have some issues, and you talk to them and you find out they're down or that they're negative. But a person with a strong personality and strong emotions can walk in the room and change that whole atmosphere.
Yeah.
Right? And I believe that they come in with a bad spirit, to change their whole atmosphere that way. But they come in, sometimes they want you to know they're mad. Like, and I'm going to raise my hand. I've been that person. If I'm mad, you're going to know I'm mad. And if I'm upset, or if I feel some type of way, you're going to know about it. But if you're a negative person with that type of attitude, then that means everything you do is going to be amplified in a negative light.
Right. And so I just want to throw my own self under the bus, right? Yeah, it's likened to a cancer. It is. So I remember when we first got together, it appeared to me at the time, because I was ignorant to my own self and didn't know any better, that almost every holiday or birthday was just a bad one. Right. And I was like, golly, I just can't have a decent holiday. Every holiday is bad. Every time you turn around. However, it was because of things that happened around those events during childhood that I had a concept
there you go.
in my mind. Say the word again.
Predisposition.
That this is going to happen. So what was I doing? Prior to Christmas be a whole month away, I already start having a bad negative attitude, because I just automatically think it's going to be bad again. So guess what I was creating? Like you said, I was creating the atmosphere from my household that was setting the stage, and it wasn't a good one. Right? Because now I'm feeling some kind of way. I know ain't nobody gonna get me nothing I want. I know this is gonna happen. I know I'm fortune telling, child. I'm just doing it all. Right? You just name it, I got it going on because wow. I'm just negative Nancy all over the place. And I was destroying what could have been a good time. And because of what happened to me. And because of me, I was affecting little ones as well as my partner. So that's why we have to be so careful of how we are and what we project, because it can spread, like Preston said, like a cancer.
Yeah.
Negativity spread. You ever watch the news and it just spread, bad news spread, but you sit there and do something good, don't know nobody know about it.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm just saying. So another thing you can do when you are in a relationship with a negative person is become self-aware. He said you stayed at the baggage claim. Listen, Preston, not only was I at the baggage claim, I had my bags and your bags and his bags too. Oh, wow. They were saying, bag lady, you gonna hurt your bag. All filled with negativity. Wow. All filled with negativity. And that's sad. I was so grateful when I was delivered from that. It's so freeing to not be negative. It just really, really is. And that's why I was saying you got to be self-aware of your own feelings. Self.
Yeah, because you have to see, and that's the thing. You got to pray that the Lord will show you things. You have to come to that understanding yourself. Like if somebody tells you you're negative, you're like, I'm not negative. I'm not. You're not going to think that way, But you have to see it for yourself. And once you realize your impact and what you're doing to the relationship, and that's why what will help us is to stop saying what this person is doing in the relationship. You did this in the relationship, and you did this to me, and you act this way. But if we focus on our own self and what we contribute to the relationship,
right,
this will better help us see how we affect what's going on in the house.
Right. Yes.
And then we can take a round turn on what we're doing. And I might not be able to control you,
right,
but I can control me.
That's right.
Yeah.
Self-awareness of your own feelings, because now you sitting up there negative, which sounds like nagging and whining and I'm tired, right? So you're sitting up there, you're nagging, you're whining, you're tired. I have to say, okay, all right, Ellasin, what is that person's negativity doing to you right now? So I have to stop, right? Just for an example, if you were being negative, I have to stop. Is this behavior helping me? Is this behavior hurting me? Is this behavior causing me to be anxious? Is this behavior causing me to clench my teeth? Am I getting a headache right now? Is my stomach, like, what is your behavior doing to me? Never mind what you got going on, because clearly you want to sit there. Me being self-aware of what that person's negative behavior is doing to me gives me the right to say, baby, right now, I'm not getting on that emotional roller coaster with you. I'm not jumping in that bag with you. I'm going to remove myself for a moment until we can come back and we can discuss this. But right now, this behavior is too much. So I'm going to remove myself. You don't want to just walk away, because that's a whole nother argument that, you didn't walk away from me. Yeah. But anyway.
So you're talking about how you're talking about dealing with you negative. And how you react to the negativity.
Yes.
Right. So how you react to that negativity, you can either diffuse it or you can put fuel on the fire. Right. Yes. You can make it worse, or you can help to diffuse it. And we want to diffuse conflict. Conflict is good in relationships.
Yes.
Healthy conflict. Right? Healthy conflict is good. But you want to diffuse toxic behavior.
Yeah.
Because it's going to breed more negativity.
Right.
And so how you react to a negative person or negativity in the relationship is going to dictate what happens going forward, right?
Yes.
That's what you're getting at, correct?
Yes, yes. One have to work through their own life, communicate, talk with each other, be accountable to truth. And I like that you said that, because so many couples walk on eggshells because they don't want to tell the truth. Baby, you negative.
You know what? I'm going to say this too. We have to be,
she
said, we have to be accountable to truth.
Yes.
Not just your truth, but to the truth.
Listen.
Right? I'm so tired of people saying
that's my truth.
That's my truth.
No.
Well, what is, you got a truth and this person got a truth, but what is the truth?
The truth.
Right?
Yes.
Because if we let everybody come with my truth, then everybody's truth becomes what is real. Like, you know what I mean?
Yes, I'm about to read this.
My truth says 2 + 2 is 5.
Right.
No, that's not true.
Yes. Listen, I was looking at something the judge was doing, right? And she said, this judge said it perfectly. She said, just because you claim to think something is true doesn't make it true. Your beliefs do not make something true. The truth is the truth. Okay. Yes. And that's what I choose to stay in reality, stay in what is the truth. And I like that you said that, because again, being self-aware of what a negative person does to you will let you to know I need to remove myself, because if I stay in this, then it's going to cause more problems. Now I am also feeling some kind of way. I'm becoming emotional, and this is an emotional disaster right now. And most men can't deal with the difference of the emotions like that in the first place, more than that's negativity. So being self-aware of your own feelings in a negative relationship, in a negative environment, will help you to keep a healthy emotional distance.
Yeah, a healthy emotional distance until you can calm down and come back together.
Yes.
Right? And what that's going to take is for you to humble yourself to the point to understand that, well, maybe I don't see everything the way it's supposed to be, or I don't see everything the way that it really is. Once you diffuse the anger and the negativity, then you can pull the onion back together.
Yeah.
To determine, well, what is the truth?
Right.
What is the real truth here?
Right.
You know, what really happened?
Right. Preston said, where no wood is, there the fire goes out. That's right. If I don't jump on this bandwagon with you, the fire is going to go out. If the fire is not going to go out, you're going to be a blowing fool by yourself trying to keep it burning, because I'm not going to stay there with you going.
So, and this has a lot to do also with what are your ethical value and moral values based upon? If you're married to somebody, or you're in a relationship with somebody that does not share the same moral values, it does not have the same moral compass as you. And for us, we're believers in Jesus Christ.
That's
right. So our moral compass is going to be it's going to be guided by the Word of God.
Yes.
So we have to, at the very least, if there's a disagreement, we have to humble ourselves and say, well, what does the Word say in this situation?
Yeah.
Because it's not going to give us a negative outlook on the situation. Mm-hmm. It's going to tell us how to positively make change to the way that we're thinking, and to bring maybe compromise, right, or to inject truth into the situation.
So I want to go on to what Shirley says, but before I go to her comment, because I think that's important, I want to go to what you said. The Bible tells us to go, if our brother or sister does something wrong to us, to go to them, right? And to discuss it with them. Why can't we go to our partners when we're feeling like we feeling offended? Why is it rough and tough? Why is it we have to walk on eggshells? Why can't we go to our partner and say, babe, you know what? When you speak negativity, or when you do this, it really causes me to feel this way. It causes me anxiousness. I can't deal with that. I think that is very important for us to be able to build a safe place in our partners so that we can communicate, so that we can be truthful.
Yeah, that's all about us learning how to do that. Because listen, you said it in the beginning, even though we're believers, 77% of what is said in the house,
in a positive house,
a positive house, 77% of it is negative.
Yep.
Now that's not everybody, but that's a general overall percentage, right? 77% of what is said in a positive house is negative.
Can you imagine a negative house?
Oh my God. So even believers have to learn how to put away that negative thinking, that negative aspect, and learn how to speak in a positive manner, because it's in our sinful nature to do that. Yeah. Now, on the flip side, say if an individual isn't in the church, you can only draw from what is positive.
Right.
Treat other people the way you want them to treat you.
Right.
And you have to understand that however you speak and whatever you say is going to bring about some type of reaction.
Right.
So however you get your point across or your outlook on a situation within the relationship might dictate what kind of response you're going to get.
And Christians will be negative too, because listen, when we think about negativity, sometimes we're thinking about something so outlandish, but that's not the case. Sometimes negativity can look like, this always happens to me. Oh my gosh. Why is this always happen to me? I can't catch a break. All of that is negative, but yet we serve in God, so how are we saying that? So we have to be careful. To go back to what Shirley said about I love that no blame, no shame, because we always want to blame somebody else for our behavior. It's your fault why I'm so negative. Wow. You say if you wouldn't have did this, then I wouldn't have said that. No, baby. You need to take responsibility for your own, because you can only be responsible for your own role in a relationship. So if someone is doing something, again, self-awareness, back up. Don't sit up there and engage in a negative way. And then now you want to shift. It's your fault. It's your fault. You
still have a responsibility in how you have a decision to make. Yes, you might be mad. And yes, things may be said that hurt your feelings, but you still have to make a decision to say what you're going to say.
Right.
It goes right back to the garden.
Yes.
Adam said, it was the woman that you gave me.
Right. Blame.
It goes right back to shifting blame. It wasn't me. No, it wasn't my fault.
Right.
It was her fault. Matter of fact, it wasn't her.
It wasn't her fault. It was his fault.
Matter of fact, you the one that gave me the woman.
Right.
That's what he said. It's the woman that you gave me.
Oh, don't we blame God
Don't we blame
sometimes?
God sometimes?
Woo!
Don't we blame God sometimes?
Woo! Lord, you told me to marry this one. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Now you know he didn't. Right? So Shirley said that, remember, timing is valuable, and that is true. That's why sometimes you have to learn to step back before engaging. Step back. And this might not be the time. So you know what? Let's pick a time and let's talk about it. But pick a time and talk about it. Because you know what? Sometimes we want to say, oh, we're going to talk about it, and talking about it don't never come.
Don't never come.
Right? So this is important, because negativity, yes. Negativity affects a relationship, because you might be negatively anticipating how your partner will react to something.
Yeah.
Right. And then it goes into the interaction with your defenses already high alert. So, man, I got to go in here and ask him, and tell him I want to pay for this. And I know he going to already be, telling me, well, didn't you just spend money on this last time? And so, I spoke up all of this, had a negative conversation with me, myself, and I. So when you go to your partner, first of all, you probably go wrong because your tone is already messed up, because now you already feel like it's going to turn out negative. Your body language is crazy. So you're like, babe, you going to give me the money for da-da-da-da-da? And he's like, yo, why are you coming at me like that?
Yeah. But you know what? There's two parts to that. Right? So even if one of you comes, like you're thinking, oh man, this is bad. I'm not
right.
This is I gotta go ask it about what we should do in this situation, and I want to do this. It wouldn't be bad if you didn't have that experience before. So that also lets us to know that your partner has a part to play in the negativity in the relationship.
Right.
Now you're dealing with how a person individually can be accountable for their own negativity. Right. But the reason you have those negative thoughts sometimes has to do with your experience.
Right.
In the relationship. So on the other side, the other person, that's why it's so important for us to ensure we create an atmosphere that is not negative in our relationship when it comes to communication. Because I've created an atmosphere where my wife walked on eggshells a lot, right? Even up until not too long ago. And sometimes about certain situations, truth be told, she still walks on eggshells because she doesn't know how it's going to come across or how I'm going to react.
Yes.
Right. And so we have to know that, hey, I have to create an atmosphere where you feel safe in communicating, safe in coming to me, so that doesn't create negativity in the marriage or in the relationship.
And another part to that is I can't be a historian, right? And a historian will say, oh God, last time it went this way. Oh my goodness, this. So it will stop me from going or stop anybody from talking, because history shows that, well, before, but do we not exercise forgiveness in our relationship? So we got to stop being historians, right? We got to stop being historians. And so with that being said, being a historian, it does breed for negativity, because it sets me up for failure, and it kind of sets the whole conversation up for failure, because I'm going based off of what history says, right? So being negative, being a historian can already have me on defensive, right? And Shirley said, look at yourself first and accept responsibility. We don't want to look in the mirror. We don't want to look in the mirror and look at me. We want to look at everybody else around. But you know what? The best thing we could do is say, God, show me.
Yeah. And that's important, because the truth of the matter is, it's scary looking at yourself, right? We're all cowards when it comes to that, unless you've had to face yourself.
You know, I face myself, so my mirror on the wall.
Once you faced yourself, right? You've had this battle with your internal self, yes. Right? But a lot of times we want it to be somebody else's issue. We want it to be that person's problem. We want that person to be the reason why things are the way they are. Yes. We don't want it to be us, because what's that say about me? It says I'm broken. It says I got issues. I got problems. You know, and then when you have to face yourself, it's a scary thing.
It's a scary thing.
You know, so hey, if you've done that, I applaud you, because it takes a courageous person to really look at yourself for who you are.
One day I'm gonna have to share about my 3-month journey of Lord, show me. Anyway, that's a whole nother one. So so negativity in a relationship can also cause, because bad stuff, right? We can remember the bad stuff. Bad stuff sticks more in our mind, in our hearts, and in our bodies, much more than the good stuff. So when something bad happens, or when something, you know, who can somebody please tell me who wrote "Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words never hurt"? Who wrote that shenanigans?
They lied.
Right? My grandmother says, if you think what you're doing is good, let someone else do and tell me what you think. Yes, I agree. Tell me. Right? But sticks and stones may break my bones, yes. But words won't hurt. No. Words hurt. Words stick. And this is where the negativity can be created in a relationship, because I haven't gotten rid of the bad stuff that was said that hurt my heart, or that is still in my mind. I'm allowing it to continually run through my mind. So it's now creating more of a negative effect in the relationship.
Yeah, that should have been said. Sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will cut you to the heart.
Yes, that's good.
A break can be set.
Yes.
And when it's healed, you can't tell there was anything wrong. But words, when they cut you, they leave a scar, because we can see the way that you react, and in your emotions, and in your outlook in life, and in your behaviors, how you're fractured, how you were scarred, right? Should I say?
Yeah.
Because those scars tell a story.
The thing about the words grow. My break, I fix it. It mends, it heals. As I grow, it's better. You know, words grow with you. If you were told what you're not going to do, there are people who come out of that and they be like, well, I was told I wasn't going to do nothing, so now I'm a doctor, lawyer, whatever. But then you have those people who were told you're never going to be this. You're going to be just like your daddy. You look at you, you're like your mama. And those words grow, and then we repeat it back. Or if we forgot those words because they were spoken at a young age, when life starts happening, then those words that was spoken into you start coming back like the floodgates.
Yes.
Right? Words cannot be removed from your brain network. And this is true, but you can combat those words. Right. You can combat those words. And that's where definitely, the Lord, The Lord was going to have to help you. And then there's some things you have to do on your own. So you have to be careful not to hold on to the bad stuff in a relationship.
Yeah. I'm still stuck on the sticks and stones thing. But it goes right along with what you're saying. Yes. Because words, the reason they hurt so bad, like you can break somebody's bone with a stick.
Yeah.
But words affect you, and that's just physical. Words affect you on an emotional and on a spiritual level, right? And so words affect you in a way that a physical trauma cannot, right?
Yeah.
So even before, like you said, if you speak negativity even to a baby in the womb, even though they can't regurgitate it, they will have a lot of times they act out in negativity.
Right.
Because it was spoken over them. That's why we have to, I'm sorry, but I got to go back to the word of God. Because if negativity was spoken into you, right, and it affects you on an emotional and a spiritual level, it takes the word of God, which is sharper than any two-edged sword, that divides the physical from the mental and from the spiritual.
Right. Yes.
Right? That's what heals you, is the word of God.
Yes.
From the inside out.
Yes. Listen. Let me give you this valuable nugget.
Listen, Linda.
I need you, Linda, listen. Remember this. The negative comments usually carry much more weight than the positive ones. Yeah. So that's important when you speak it. And it's important to shut that person down when they're trying to speak it to you. Okay? Shirley, you are good. Thank you for so much. She said they lied. Words will destroy one.
They lied.
Yes. That's why relationships are so different today. Yes. Words that was spoken in your life almost determines you as a person. And that is so true, right? That is so true. So you have to make sure you don't speak negative out. You don't speak negative in, and you don't allow people to speak that into.
Say that again, because she didn't say don't let negative in. Mm-hmm. She said don't speak negative out and don't speak negative in.
That's right.
What is speaking negative in?
Speaking negative in is telling you what you can't do.
Wow.
I can't do this. I can't do that. I can't do this. I wish I could. I'm not like everybody else. I'm this. And you're speaking negative in, honey, because when I speak, I hear me. So when I speak it out, I'm speaking it out. I'm creating it out, and I'm creating it in.
The voice you hear the most is your own.
That's right.
The voice you hear the most is your own.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
My Lord.
Yep. So when you speak it out and you creating that atmosphere, you have to be careful because you create that atmosphere. Create your atmosphere. Mm-hmm. If I don't like an atmosphere I'm in, if I can't change it, I'm out. Right? It's me and God walking up in there. Mm-hmm. And if it ain't feeling right, I'm checking out. Lord, you stay and work on them. But I'm out unless you tell me to stay, right? That's how I see it. Yeah. So, and another thing, we got to be careful because when we have disagreements with friends or we have arguments with family members and loved ones or whatever, we have to be careful because afterwards, a lot of times you find yourself focusing on everything and all the stuff that your partner did wrong. Oh, yeah, see, this is why I don't even talk to him because it's this and oh my goodness, and he can't even cut the grass right. And you just naming it, it's just going on and on and on. What are you doing right now? You're sipping on that poison.
And you have to be careful letting other people speak into your relationship.
Woo!
Because other people that are jealous of the relationship you have will speak negativity into the one that you got.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. And that's so powerful. If you guys have been watching Real Talk with Ellasin, and we've been talking about the impact of negativity on yourself and in relationships. Listen, this is a good thing. Instead of acknowledging all the good points, we tend to ruminate over all the imperfections of our partners or our family members or our children, right? We can point out, well, you didn't do it this way. Oh, okay, well, good job. But so you spend more time on telling them the negative part or anything like that. So you have to remove it. And it's a process. It's a process, right? So there's things that you can do to protect your relationship. Be kind. Wow. Did I really say that? Yes. Be kind. Did you know for every one negative word you speak, you should speak 5 positive words?
Wow.
That's the ratio. For every one negative word, you have to come back and speak 5 positive words.
I know people can't count that high. They start losing count. How many words I gotta say?
Right. So you have to be kind. You have to be grateful. How many times do we tell each other we're grateful for them? We're grateful for the things you do. Right? Even the little things. I'm grateful. My babe, he fixed me breakfast every morning. I'm like, babe, thank you. Because if it wasn't for you, I probably wouldn't even eat. It don't look like it, but I wouldn't eat. I'll miss it. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for all the things that he does around here. I'm grateful for the sacrifices that he made in this military career. Yeah, I made him too, but he did them too. And I'm grateful for that. Tell your partner how grateful you are. You know, and sometimes tell yourself you're grateful. Girl, I'm grateful because you know what? You didn't turn out how they said.
Right. And I'm grateful. I'm thankful for all the support that you've given me, and for being the woman and the wife and the mother to our children that you have been.
Babe.
Right. And I'm grateful and thankful just for the growth. For the growth in us.
Yeah. Right. The growth in us. The growth in us.
And that I think came by way a lot of from what I learned from you.
And trial and error. Nobody gave us a marriage handbook, right? So to help a relationship, be kind, be grateful, forgive. So what does that look like? I need you to go find that rug that you've been stuffing everything under that y'all keep tripping over, acting like it ain't there.
Everything you kept sweeping,
right? And I need y'all to deal with it, forgive it, and now start processing it out so that y'all can have a healthy relationship. Don't keep the rug there and act like it don't exist. You got a whole moose sitting at the table and everybody walking around like the moose ain't there. Okay? So that's the way to a healthy marriage. You got to get rid of that stuff. And listen, you have to take care of you. You have to take care of you. Be more healthy. Be more healthy in your speech. Be more healthy in your eating, exercising, get some good sleep. Yeah. All of those habits. How can I be on this regimen of being healthy and I'm spewing out negativity? They can't mix together, right? So you have to take care of you. My motto is I have to take care of me so I can take care of we. If I'm not taking care of me, what am I giving him? Yeah. Right? That's good. That's good. Wow. Yes, Shirley. Right. So in ending, I want to leave you guys with this, and I hope you guys had a great time because we had a ball. I love when my honey is on here, and I'm grateful because this is so out of his element, and he just been riding it out with me. So I'm grateful for that. But how can you change negative self-talk to being more positive? You can do it. You don't have to be stuck in that. First of all, you have to want to have a changed mindset. You have to want it. If you don't want it, then you're just going to keep being negative, right? So I want to challenge each of you guys on here, and I want you to monitor everything you say to someone else or to yourself for the next week. Just monitor yourself. Monitor what you say. Monitor what you say to each other for the next week, and just see how much negative that you speak, right? And then choose to have a positive mindset. It's a choice. And having a positive mindset doesn't look like you won't be negative at some time. Sometimes things won't hit you. You won't fall down and get back up. But choose to look at the good in things. Monitor your thoughts. That's number 2. Monitor your thoughts. Even after an event takes place, you may find yourself thinking, oh, I shouldn't have done that, or this and this and this. You know what? Okay, well, you know what? That happened. How can I learn from it? How can I learn from it? Monitor your thoughts and then edit your thoughts, right? When you find yourself interpreting something in a negative way or focusing on a bad habit or a bad situation, reframe it. Reframe it. That's all you have to do is reframe it and look at it in a more positive light. And then change your thought pattern. You have to change your thought pattern. If you find yourself mentally reviewing something unpleasant, some unpleasant event, or some unpleasant, outcome, and you continuously keep going over it in your mind, you have to make a conscious effort to redirect your attention. Make a conscious effort to redirect your intention and focus on something that's going to bring you joy and make you happy, right? And then stay away from negative people.
That's right.
Stay away from negative people. There's too many motivational speeches out there. There's too many preachers out there that's speaking positive. There's too many things out there that we can listen to. Music that can be more positive. We have to stay away from the negativity, right? So my last thing, do you have a nugget before I end?
I would say the last thing I would say is Philippians 4:8. Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any value, any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things. That's going to help with the negativity.
That's good. That's good. That's good. And I want to say this. Taking a more mindful approach that involves being self-aware. You have to be aware of your own tendencies towards negativity.
Yes.
And continually evaluate yourself and evaluate how can I have more positive, happier thoughts, right? At the forefront of our mind. Not sit up there and have to look for something after it happens, but can we focus more at the forefront of our mind of positive awareness, right? And this is one of the best ways to combat negativity. Keep positivity in your mind. And the word says, keep your mind steadfast on him. If I'm keeping my mind on Christ, how do I have time for negativity to be in there?
Mind stayed on him.
Keep your mind stayed on him.
Amen. Shirley said, I've enjoyed my evening with you, Sunshine.
Hey, thank you, Shirley.
Hey, we
for
enjoyed
being
our
here.
evening with you too.
Listen, you have been watching Real Talk with Ellasin and Eric, and we are so grateful for all you guys. Thank you for commenting in. Thank you for laughing at us. I still don't know the Hanna-Barbera person anyway, but thank you guys for watching Real Talk with Ellasin. Our next upcoming show, if I'm not mistaken, is going to be about adjustment disorder. So a lot of us are learning how to readjust after COVID and adjusting to this and adjusting to a new job and adjusting to that. So we're going to talk about how you can, the symptoms of adjustment disorder and how to deal with adjusting. Okay, so that's our next coming show. You're welcome, Monica. Thank you so much for joining in. Listen, guys, thank you so much for watching Real Talk with Ellasin. God bless you all and have a wonderful evening. Good night.
Bye.